Hey, it's Momo here, guys, and today I'm going to be bringing you another Minecraft video, but at the same time, also sort of a rant video. First thing you may notice is this does not look like normal Minecraft. You are kind of correct. It is regular Minecraft, but with a huge shader overhaul using Optifine. They're the same company that created Continuum, which I actually have the Continuum texture pack. Nope. Let's see here nope, if I can do it right. There we go. It'll take a second to load, but yeah, here we go. Once you see it, you'll see that there's a huge difference, and it looks almost a lot more hyper realistic in some ways. Like, if you get up close, it looks a lot more like dirt, but at the same time, it's okay. That was weird shading issue, but at the same time, like the grass looks a little bit wonky and whatnot. The wood looks incredibly good. Sugarcane. Eh. One thing that I absolutely love is the water textures. Like, they are gorgeous in my opinion. Truly gorgeous. I'll go over here in the actual pond, lake area that I've got to show you what it looks like underwater. It's just as beautiful. This is the main reason why I got this texture pack instead of any others, as well as the shaders, because it just looks gorgeous in my opinion. It's beautiful. But, alright, getting back to the task at hand. You might have already noticed that I've started harvesting a bunch of pumpkins and whatnot with my stone axes. Yep, it's gonna be fun. So I can make a whole bunch more pumpkin pies. But what I'm here for today, I guess, is maybe a talk, maybe a rant. I don't know how to classify it. You guys can classify it however you want. But the thing that I wanted to talk about was multiplayer games and how they've changed over the years, I guess. That looked incredibly weird. Yeah, that's an interesting fragmenting. Yeah, as you can tell, I don't actually use the full um, texture pack much, but also, side note, you have to have a pretty good PC to be able to run this. I've actually got the shaders turned down because even my decently new, moderately priced gaming computer can barely run it. It's like 16 FPS, and that's not good for videos. I don't mind it. I grew up on really crap computers, so I'm used to horrible FPS. Alright, regardless, what I wanted to get at was multiplayer games and the community with them and everything like that. How, and I don't mean like couch player games. I'm talking about like online MMO, FPS, other all those types, where I feel like I don't want to say it's entirely nostalgia, but I feel like there's a large part missing in a whole bunch of games. And what that is like the friendship. Um, what I mean by this is you take a game like Minecraft or a game like League of Legends, World of Warcraft, all that. If you actually look at the population curve on Google and whatnot, it slowly spikes up, then it goes down and whatnot. But what I think really gets to games and whatnot is the fact that I guess people grow old and grow apart. And whenever you've got a game that is largely multiplayer, take League of Legends for example. I'm going to use this one pretty heavily because that's the one that I get this feeling from. And it's not bad on your own, but after a while it just feels monotonous and boring. But the reason why I got into League of Legends was one of my best friends recommended it, and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. So I started playing it, fell in love, played with friends and all that, and it was great. Some of my favorite gaming moments are with that game, with friends. However, through time, most people just stop playing for one reason or another. They made a change in the game, so people stop, blah, blah, blah. And so it became less and less friends playing it and more of just me playing on my own. And it's something that I've seen quite a lot. I've seen a lot of the memes where it's like Halo or COD or anything where the friend on Xbox Live signed off like 3 years ago and never came back. And even though they may try to make the game again, like a new Halo game, new World of Warcraft expansion, new League of Legends patch, any of that, it just doesn't live up to the memories that we have because I feel like it's not the game so much as the people that we play it with. I want to go to World of Warcraft. Um, they've got Classic being released pretty soon, and everyone's hyped about it, obviously, because that's a pretty cool game. And like I realize it'll probably be cool, probably have a lot more player retention than retail WoW, what's out right now, simply because Classic WoW, at its core, promoted social behavior, where you had to talk to friends, you had to talk to people, just make friends in the game. And I think that's one of the strongest parts of a multiplayer game, an online multiplayer game. If you take away the need for friends, the need for, uh, if you can just do it on your own, a lot of people actually do that, and that slowly just degrades the game over time, in my opinion. What this means, however, is games like games like League of Legends. You can play it with friends, you don't have to. And the more you don't play it with friends, the more isolated it feels. And it may just be me, but I feel like that game is very lonely whenever you play it by yourself for so long. Again, that may just be me. I'm sitting here just carving away pumpkins for however long this video is. Because trust me, this pumpkin patch actually kind of recovers pumpkins faster than you can mine for the most part. But going back, um, leveling up in League of Legends, because back in the day there was the max level 30 that you could get to before you could even play ranked or anything like that. I made so many friends in League just because of the game and whatnot. And what this meant was I had new people to talk to, new people to experiment builds and whatnot with. And so it just felt more alive. I probably made like 100 friends within the first few years of gaming, or of playing League. Then slowly that number just gradually dwindled over time until I had a static number, unless I had like a friend of a friend that just joined or something, but that was very rare. And eventually I just had to clean up all the old ones because I had over 100 friends who no longer played the game and I haven't even seen them in years. So cleared out a whole bunch of my friends list and whatnot. And even after that, there's still only like one or two people on my friends list that, I don't know, that even play. Getting to play with them is a bit troublesome as well. And I know that like people grow up and whatnot with time, but it's just kind of the way that I see it is that should be tilled, but oh well, I don't have a hoe with me right now. So the thing about multiplayer games is if you take away the multiplayer aspect, and with League of Legends you pretty much do because you can just queue up with random people, face against random people, and never see them again. It's like being in a game with none. They don't have to be real people, they can be bots for all you care. And at that point, it pretty much becomes a single player game. Wow, it got dark fast. But most multiplayer games don't have the content to stand on their own by being single player, even though they appeal to an audience that lets it that you can just continuously play on your own without being with friends or anything, because that kind of hinders some people. But whenever you just play by yourself, it takes away from the game. That's why a lot of people hate retail WoW compared to Classic. They feel like, oh, there's nothing that like forces you to make friends. There's nothing that forces you to communicate. It's just like you're there and everyone else could be NPCs pretty much. And while the game is lengthy and whatnot, it's not good enough on its own. A multiplayer game without at least some forced aspect of multiplayer communication with human beings, it's a really, really crappy single player game in my opinion. And you may say that like, oh, there's still communication in League of Legends and whatnot. I don't see it. I honestly don't. That is actually really nice leaf textures. That's beautiful. Huh. Okay, continuing on. The reason why I say that is in League of Legends, the majority of the communication is toxic. I'm not saying this because, oh, I'm trying to bash the community or anything. I'm just saying it because whenever you look at the game, there's not much to incentivize talking at all. You just play a ranked game, tell someone if they did good job, and then move on. And the majority of the time, people get upset and try to rank up and become the best. And so it's not even them congratulating, it's more or less fussing at everyone who did something wrong. So it takes this good game, and instead of creating friends or anything, all you do is create enemies. And I could contribute that to esports or something, or everyone wants to become the next Faker, blah blah blah, best League of Legends player in the world, but I really can't, because I mean that might play a part into it. Everyone wants to become professionals and whatnot, but it's really just the game itself. I'm not gonna say that Riot killed the game or anything like that. Heck, you have to adjust the game, have to progress it, change it so that it maintains some sort of appeal to people. Because once you make a good multiplayer game, you either A, leave it as is permanently, and people get bored and then leave, or change it and people dislike the changes and leave. That seems to be the consensus with nearly every long-term running game that I've seen. I've heard people talk about how they dislike new Minecraft, where they hate all of the new stuff. Let's see if I can find any gizmos. I don't know. Weighted pressure plate, all that stuff. They don't like it. They like the simplicity of the old school game. And I can agree with them on that. It's nice to go back to what you had. But I think the large portion of why people go back to what they want or what they remember is because of the discovery with friends and everything like that they had in the beginning. I don't know, I might be rambling on, just nonsense. But what I'm trying to get at is what people want from games of their childhood, I feel, is almost unachievable anymore because we get older, our schedules change and everything. We just start getting more busy, losing friends. Also, if you don't know that, like, once you get out of high school, you'll probably lose a bunch of your friends. Sorry to be a downer, but yeah, I'm just gonna say that right now. It just happens. You can try to keep in touch and whatnot, but there will still be some of them that either A, they grow and change and you change in a different way, or you just don't have time anymore. It sucks. It really does. And I hope it doesn't happen as much to you guys as it did to me. But yeah. And so you can't get back to those memories that you made with those friends unless you really try, which you can sometimes, but that'll be more or less an outlier case. And yeah. However, one thing that I do have to commend Minecraft on is even though they keep adding on more and more complex stuff, like, I don't know, hoppers, pressure plates, blah blah blah, it's still at the heart, it's still this core simple gameplay. You want to make a house out of mud or dirt, you can. Easy as that. That one just respawned. Nice. That's so many pumpkins. And I don't know at this point. It's just multiplayer games, they're fun, but they get to a point where you just I see the main appeal that I see with multiplayer games is immersion into the world. I think that's with most nearly every video game. You want to be able to immerse yourself into the world and almost, I mean, for some people, escape real world, escape reality for a little bit. Minecraft does that beautifully where it's an entire new world that you can just go into, as you can see. But, and then once you immerse yourself, it's learning all the little things. It's discovering the secrets. It's just learning new tactics, blah, blah, blah. Like League of Legends, whenever I started, there were probably about like 50, 60 champions. Not that many. But they kept on releasing new ones all the time. I didn't even know all the original ones at the time. And so I was like, wow, this is so cool. Learning everybody is awesome. But now there comes a point where I know every single champion pretty much inside and out. I know what they're strong against, what they're weak against, blah, blah, blah. And the sense, dang it, just pop that, which I did not want to. Okay, so that's growing. And it's the sense of mystery and discovery and learning that brings a lot of games to, that makes a lot of games just beautiful. Minecraft, you learn how to make this, how to make that, how water physics work in this game, whatnot. And each time you learn something, it's a new experience, something to be happy about and whatnot. But then you just start learning it all, in my opinion. And once you learn it all, there's not many branches that you can go from there. Granted, that opens up nearly anything. You can do nearly anything at that point. But, I don't know. Like you take League of Legends, for example. Once you learn all that you can, you either A, try to hone your skills and become the best that you can, which, as I said, I kind of feel like it contributes to a toxic atmosphere at that point. Or you, well, you just have some fun with what you do know. Try and figure out new things, which is what I do with League, is I always try and figure out new, interesting builds I can do. That may be because of my raising on, you know, CivHD or Soulwolf, where that's what they did, was they knew the game inside and out. What they did was they had fun with it. They didn't try to become the best. All they did was try and have fun. Play the game how they wanted to play it. Yeah. And I know it may seem weird. This video is coming out of the blue. What I'm talking about may seem out of the blue, but if you watch the progress of a lot of games here recently, League of Legends, World of Warcraft, everything, a lot of people are quitting those games. A lot of people that started YouTube, started Twitch, started their careers pretty much within that game, they're starting to leave. And I think a large portion of it is that you hear a lot of people talk about, I had like 2 screenshots on accident, but you hear a lot about people who had played this game for many years. Their friends got them into it, but they just no longer enjoy the game as much. Their friends left or something like that, and so they stopped playing. And they just went away from a game that they played for years. And I feel like that's a large contributor. People grow old, people start playing new games, people just leave the game entirely, and as your friends leave, a multiplayer game loses its appeal, in my opinion. But, yeah. I don't know how else to describe this. There's really not anything good about this video, I guess. Except for all of the pumpkins that I just harvested. But, yeah. I guess I just wanted to spread awareness for what I feel is a growing, not a problem, but a growing mindset in the gaming community and communities that I love being a part of. Anyway, yeah. I think that'll be all. Dang it, no, you're not supposed to go there. Also, to end this on a high note-ish, this, as I said, this takes a lot of computing power to run the cool new graphics, whatnot. However, even with mine, as you can see here, I've got GeForce GTX 1060, basically a, NVIDIA 1060 card, and decent amount of RAM, all that. I'll show you guys where it happened, but I clipped through the ground and fell into lava. Lost all of my stuff. I had like at least 2 things of diamond armor, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I was upset because it just made me lose everything. Also, one of the things that I love about this is the ambiance of underground and dark areas. I've got a small nether portal system set up. This is very dark. Ow. No. Okay. Just, I was going along here, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, nether portal system. It glitched and it sent me all the way down, right into lava. I lost so much stuff. That was fun. So had to refarm up a bunch of stuff. Oh, look how cute he is sitting down. But yeah, that'll be it for this video. Hope you didn't like, I don't know, hoping and upset or bore you guys too much, even though I probably did. Like, there's no doubt about it. But yeah, that'll be all for this video. This is Mo signing off. Peace.